Hi everyone, my name is Jaden and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to talk about all of the moons in our solar system. So firstly, we're going to start at the Earth because Mercury and Venus doesn't have any moons. The Earth only has one moon and it is called the moon, or sometimes known as Luna. So next, let's move on to the moon's orbit around the Earth. So the moon circles the Earth every 28 or 29 days. And the moon has a very elliptical orbit around the Earth. So listen carefully. The moon's closest point to the Earth is known as the perigee, and its furthest point is known as the apogee. And when the moon gets closer, is known as a supermoon and appears 14% bigger and brighter in the night sky because it's closer. And next, when it's further away, at its furthest point from the Earth, it is known as a micromoon and appears so much smaller. But that's not all. Also, when the moon gets closer, the tides on Earth get higher. And when the moon gets further away, it gets lower. But why is that? It's because the moon pulls or tides on Earth with its gravity. So you see, the moon is actually very important for the Earth. But not just that. The moon also holds the Earth stable on its axis. Without the moon, the Earth will tip over on its side. The first ever moon landing happened in 1969 when Neil Armstrong was the first human to step foot on the moon. And it might happen again soon, maybe in 2027 or 2028, when humans will once again land on the moon. Okay, so next we are going to move on to the moons of Mars. Mars only has two moons. Their names are Phobos and Deimos. Phobos and Deimos are not actually like the other moons in the solar system. They are not big or round, but they look a lot like asteroids. And there's a theory that suggests that they might not even be Mars's moons. They might have been pulled out of the asteroid belt by Mars's strong gravity, and then they started orbiting Mars and became Mars's moons. So maybe they're Mars's moons, or maybe they're not. Phobos and Deimos sits very close to Mars, and they have a very short orbital period. Phobos only takes 7 hours and 39 minutes to orbit Mars, meaning he orbits about 3 times around Mars in one day. That's actually crazy. And Deimos only orbits every 30 hours. And now that we're talking about their very short orbital period, Phobos is so close to Mars that in a couple million or billions of years, Mars will pull Phobos in with its strong gravity, and then Phobos will crash against Mars, creating a beautiful thin ring around Mars. So next we have reached Jupiter. So Jupiter has at least 115 moons. But we're not going to talk about all of them. We're only going to talk about the Galilean moons of Jupiter. Their names are Io, Europa, Ganymede and Callisto. But why are they called Galilean moons? It's because they were discovered by Galileo Galilei in 1610. And they are easily visible through a telescope. Okay, so firstly we're going to talk about Io. Io is the most volcanically active world in the entire solar system. And yes, at least 400 active volcanoes on its surface. So now we're moving on to Europa. Europa is the smallest of the 4 Galilean moons and has twice as much water as all the water combined here on Earth. And I don't know how that's even possible. Okay, so next we're moving on to Callisto. Callisto is said to be a dead moon of Jupiter and is very heavily cratered. And next is Ganymede. And Ganymede is a very interesting one because it also has an ocean just like Europa. And it's also underground. And not just that, Ganymede is the only moon in the entire solar system that has a magnetic field.
Whoa!
And Ganymede is so big that he's even bigger than planet Mercury. If he was orbiting the Sun and not on Jupiter, he would be classified as a planet. How cool is that? Okay, so now we're moving on to Saturn's moons. So Saturn has the most moons in the entire solar system. It has at least 285 moons. It almost has 300 moons. Okay, so firstly, we're gonna talk about Saturn's most interesting moon. Titan is the second largest moon in the entire solar system, and it's also bigger than Mercury. And it's a bit smaller than Ganymede. And what's so interesting about this moon is that it's the only moon in the entire solar system with an atmosphere. And that atmosphere contains a lot of methane, and it's a nitrogen-rich atmosphere. This moon also has a lot of lakes on it, making it one of the most Earth-like worlds in the entire solar system. So maybe it has life, or maybe not. Next is Rhea, Saturn's second largest moon. And this moon is 75% made of water ice and 25% made of rock. Next is Iapetus. Iapetus has very beautiful colors on its surface, and it looks a lot like the yin and yang symbol. Next is Dione. So Dione has a beautiful bright color on its surface, and it also has a subsurface global ocean. Next is Thetis. Thetis, on the other hand, is the fifth largest moon of Saturn and is known for its low density and has a beautiful canyon and crater. Next is Enceladus, the sixth largest moon of Saturn and famous for its subsurface global oceans and geyser-like cryovolcanic plumes. Next is Mimas, the seventh largest moon of Saturn, and this moon actually looks a lot like the Death Star from Star Wars. And not just that, Mimas also has a big ocean beneath its icy shell. Okay, so now we are finished with Saturn's most interesting moons. Next, we're gonna talk about Uranus. So Uranus has at least 29 moons. And its largest moon is Titania. And Titania is also the 8th largest moon in the solar system. So Titania is a moon made of water ice and is a heavily cratered moon. Next is Oberon, the second largest moon of Uranus. And Oberon is composed of roughly equal parts of water ice and rock. Next, let's talk about Umbriel. Umbriel is the third largest moon of Uranus and also the darkest moon of Uranus, and is once again also a heavily cratered moon. Next is Ariel. Ariel is the fourth largest moon of Uranus, and is known for its very bright color. It has a very reflective surface and may also have a buried subsurface ocean. Next is Miranda, the fifth largest moon of Uranus and the smallest of the 5 big moons of Uranus. So Miranda has a beautiful landscape of giant canyons, which is about 12 times deeper than the Grand Canyon itself. And Miranda also has a lot of icy cliffs. Okay, so next we are moving on to Neptune's moons. Neptune has at least 16 moons. So the most talked about moon of Neptune, his name is Triton. So Triton is the most highly active ice-covered world ever. And it's the only moon in the entire solar system to have a retrograde orbit. What I mean is that Triton orbits Neptune the other way that the other moons of Neptune does. And there's a theory that explains why he might be orbiting the other way. It's because scientists believe that Triton might not even be Neptune's real moon. Instead, it might have been a dwarf planet just before it became a moon. So Neptune might have captured Triton billions of years ago with its strong gravity, and then Triton became a moon of Neptune but orbiting the other way around. And Neptune also has 15 other moons, but they are not actually round just like Triton. They have a more asteroid-like shape. Okay, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching on today's video. I hope you learned a lot about the moons in our solar system. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.